why they are so bad right now?
Yeah.
They just destroy the statistics. I think the thing is you have always like kind of momentum in the way you develop. I come from the software industry, and when you make a plan, it arrives 6 months later. And the moment I think Riot thought about it was when Caitlyn was a must pick. Caitlyn. And this is a fair question. How do we make the game in a way that Caitlyn is not a mandatory pick and doesn't win all the time? And it was, maybe we should make Caitlyn in a way that she's better later on, but she's not as strong. The thing is, it arrived at the moment when Caitlyn was kind of out of fashion already, and doing that to all the champions, they destroy first the stats of the champion. I think like 6 or 7 years ago, they lowered the movement speed of all the ADCs because they were too strong, and now they lower as well the HP. So even if you're good, if a bruiser all-in on you, you die. You don't have enough defensive stats in the early game to be able to survive the laning phase. So you can't go to the moment you're strong. And they nerf the item and they increase the cost, which makes the whole thing way, way worse than what it was. And actually the items that they changed are actually much more profitable for melee carries like Yasuo, Master Yi, and they're more profitable for bruisers. For instance, the Instance River on Renekton that can combo like 7 times in a row. Doesn't kind of make sense. It hasn't been designed for that. But yeah, it's kind of breaking the game as well. So I think it's pretty much how ADC disappeared from the meta. They didn't completely disappear, but they are very, very optional.
How did we end up at the meta that we are at right now?
I think the first thing is, I think the balance, the balance team have been pretty much fixing the game since 8 years around the idea of some champions, there is no drift in League of Legends, so ADC can kite. And so all the spells, all the damage, all the blinks have been pretty much balanced in a way that ADC are viable, but if other champions outplay them, then they can kill them. Right now, ADC are so weak that you can't really pick them because they can't really zone. So it's melee versus melee meta for all the position in the game. But the game has not been planned that way because the only pillar that has been like the same for pretty much the whole existence of the game has been the range of ADCs. Getting rid of them make the game kind of like the 3v3 or the Dominion where you have to all in against all in, and that's how everything is super polarized, and you need to fix the matchups by sending things in position where they shouldn't be to actually have good lanes, and that's how you end up with this kind of weird drafts where you have high modding your bot or Aatrox stuff because you need to outlane your opponent because you have no options from the range ADC provides.
Can you explain this idea that everything in the game is sort of designed around the range of AD carries?
I think the best champion to prove is Pantheon. Pantheon walks faster than most of the other champion in the game, has a W that stuns, and it's logged spell, so it's very powerful, but the range is very small. Why? Because if you're an ADC, Pantheon is just stronger than you. If he has a too big range in W, then you get killed no matter what. But he has a range that if you actually approach ADC well, you can kill him, and he has a passive to actually get hit once to be able to tank a little bit. So there is a, I would say, fairly balanced matchup where the ADC, if he plays right, can carry the Pantheon, but if the Pantheon is smarter than the ADC, can kill him. But if the ADC is so weak that Pantheon kills him no matter what, then Pantheon is he's not overpowered right now, I'm just taking it as an example, but Pantheon is designed to have an ADC kiting him, and now it just can all-in something that has no range. So he has a locked stun, he has lots of damage, and he can zone, and he has range as well. So range has been the most powerful resource in the game, and right now it's a very rare resource, rarer, if I can say, sorry for my English. So it kind of breaks the whole concept of how you balance the values, the cooldowns, and the mana cost of all the champions, and that kind of breaks the game.
So why don't you think we've just seen the stat changes reverted?
I think then it's very hard because it's up to Riot mostly to answer this question. I think Riot likes it. I think they don't want ADC to be strong because they're nerfing ADCs. Ezreal was still strong, they're nerfing Ezreal, and the supports who are making ADC strong are nerfed as well, so they don't want ADC to be strong. I think it's very bad for the audience because right now everybody's super happy to see new picks, but teamfights last 3-4 seconds instead of 15, so for the casters it's much worse. For the audience it will end up by being much worse. It's obnoxiously snowballing right now. You make one mistake, you die, so it's pretty much a gamble of a coin flip on every game, and I don't think it's very sustainable for competition in the long run. So right now it's new, so everybody's happy, but I'm pretty sure it's going to change and people are going to get bored of this. But I think they didn't find a good solution to a right problem, and they give the wrong solution to the right problem, and that's the issue right now. Making the ADC weaker doesn't make the game better. I think they should modify the map in a way that you have more diverse way of winning the game instead of just having an ADC that zones, hit turrets, and go to Baron. I think we need more objective. We need more way of playing the game instead of just changing the champion. The champion are just a way of playing the map, and if you don't change the map, you don't change the game. So I think it's just addressing the right problem and solving it the wrong way.
And as a coach behind the scene, what is kind of the effects on players? You mentioned the audience and the fans and the players themselves, I'm sure, are struggling.
I think that's the biggest thing, and I think as a coach, I'm really happy to phrase that, because I think none of neither the audience, the casters, the players want to understand that. The players, becoming a pro player first is a mistake, okay? You commit on it, and you didn't know that you were actually so good you could be pro. But they don't go to college, they spend their whole life committing on league day and night. And at some point you're very good at the game, you're paid for that, the patch arrives, you wake up one morning, you're garbage. You are garbage. Because, don't you play Yasuo in bot lane? No? Oh, dude, it's not possible, you're a bad player now. And obviously everybody is going to tell me, Zab, you just need to adapt. But adapting is just a subset of the skill required to be a good player. So, for instance, every year we crown the best team in the world on a patch that's been played for 2 months and a half, right? So the best team at Worlds is the team that actually refined the most, not the team that adapt the most. We don't change the patch in the middle of the world. So if the best team is the team that refined the most, why through the season we should change the game so fast and include so much variance that at the end of the day, players have their feelings broken. You can literally break carriers with that. Coach carriers, player carriers, because you commit on the game, you establish an environment that is suitable for your players, the players are happy, and they just wake up in the morning and they have to play a game they don't like anymore. And I understand the game seller point of view. You want people to play your game, and you need to make it new every day, but think a little bit about the pro players, their needs, what they want, how they would like the game to be fixed is very important, and I think it's not enough. I know Riot wants to do it, I know Riot tries to do it, but I think at some point we need to sit around the table with Riot and just discuss saying, I think we're going in the wrong direction. I understand your problem, we can solve it, but we're going in the wrong direction.
And as a coach, how have you been handling it when all your players are maybe really disheartened by this change?
I think you need to adapt. Yeah, you have to find a way around sometimes. You need to use what's available. You recruit players for their skills. Maybe their skills are not worth anymore. I don't know, especially ADCs. Do you think, I don't know, maybe Arrow is very good on results, maybe he's an insane Heimerdinger, no one knows. But I didn't recruit Arrow for his Heimerdinger, trust me. So you need to adapt, you need to make the player trust that the future is brighter if they don't like it.
What do you tell them,
I say, get over it, kind of. You have to. Because the season starts in few days, what do? You need to get over it. You dislike it, I dislike it, they dislike it. We think it's a nonsense. We don't understand. I think some feel betrayed as well by the game itself, but as I say, they don't have a college degree, they're not going to start their job, they're not going to retire for that, so we'll see. Maybe we're going to win, and I would say, OpTic, feed from cows. And if we would say, they didn't adapt, but adaptation is just one sub-part of esports, and esports to be more about refining and training the proper way than just inventing a strategy out of the box every 2 weeks, because it's extremely exhausting.
Is there any kind of communication between the players and the coaching and Riot's balance team about these issues? I
think this is the biggest point. Sometimes Riot comes to us, they ask, what do you think about this? That's fair. So I answered, but I didn't see, then the patch is completely different from what I said, but I'm not designer, I think it's not up to the players and to the coaching staff to solve the problems, but they have to address the problems, because we are the ones facing, we dig in so much into the game that we see the paradox, the issues, the core issues in the game, and we can address the problem. Then game designer is a job, right? I'm not a game designer, neither are the players. It's not up to us to solve it by increasing the value, saying this is right, we should do that. They are very skilled, right? Is insanely skilled on that, but I think they don't know what they have to change. So I think they should ask the top players and the coaching staff what should be changed, and then they should find a way, find right solution to right answers, and then to right problems. Sorry, and then I think we would be shifting from Riot dictating how the game should be played to players and Riot working together and the game design team to solve the problems found by the top teams. I think it would be much more easier for everybody in this industry.
Now and then Riot gets praised for patching so often and sort of changing the game so that people don't get bored with it. Do you think there's a good solution for the esports side of things in terms of patches and how often the game is changing?
I think Riot it's been 10 years, right? I can say 10 years. It's been 10 years, I've been playing the game since 2010, so yeah, it's been a long time. There was Dominion, they removed it. There are a lot of fun game modes, they don't want to make them persistent. ARAM didn't change quite a lot. I think the thing is, if players want to have a casual and fun and fast experience of the game, they can. Just provide them a tool. And the people that want to go competitive, that want to play the game, they want to grind, just make the game more stable and not always like balancing the game by... I'd rather play a nerf game mode when I want to have fun, but having a very less patch in the Summoner's Rift, even as a like gold or platinum players, than having to relearn the game every time. That's pretty much it. You make one patch every month or every 2 months, and that's fair. Like, for instance, in Overwatch, they know they don't patch as often as Riot does. And how does it affect the game? Yeah, there is things that are OP, and it's fucking terrible for the game. Like, let's be honest, Mercy has been horrible for a long time. It was horrible for the game. But you know who's the best with Mercy. And then the meta shifts, and everybody grinds the meta, and you have like iteration, so you have a storytelling per patch. Right now you have the game change completely every 2 weeks. So what's your storytelling? Oh, Huni? Do you remember Huni? Oh, he's God. He's insane. Oh, Lucian top? No, it's tanks. No, Huni, you're not good anymore. What's that? He's an insane player, and at some point everybody shits on him because just he didn't want to accept the fact that Riot just destroyed his character and say, no, you play that. And I think it's, once again, less patch, more smart patch, and if people want to have fun, they can have fun somewhere else. And I think it would be much better for the game.
Blitz Esports releases new videos every week. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out.